The year was 1979. Jimmy Carter sat in the Oval Office. That's when America got its Department of Education. Politicians promised it would help our kids. They were wrong. Before 1979, states and local communities mostly ran their own schools. They understood their students' needs better than any bureaucrat in Washington ever could. But the federal government wanted more control. Since then, the Department of Education has grown bigger and more powerful. It spends billions of dollars every year. But have our schools gotten any better? Test scores say no. The Department of Education has failed our children. What's the best way to teach kids to read? Is it through phonics, whole language, or a balanced literacy approach? What about math or history? Should we focus on traditional methods or incorporate more hands-on, experiential learning? The truth is, there's no single right answer. Every child is different. Every community is different. What works in one place might not work in another. That's why education should be controlled at the local level. Local communities have a better understanding of their unique needs and challenges. Local school boards are made up of parents, teachers, and community members. These are the people who are directly involved in the day-to-day lives of the students. They understand the unique challenges and opportunities in their areas. They know the students by name, understand their backgrounds, and can see firsthand what works and what doesn't. They can tailor education to fit the needs of their students. This means creating lesson plans that resonate with the local culture, addressing specific community issues, and leveraging local resources. The federal government is too far removed to understand these local needs. Policies made in Washington, D.C. often fail to take into account the diverse and unique circumstances of different communities. When Washington tries to impose a one-size-fits-all approach to education, it fails. Standardized tests and rigid curriculums can stifle creativity and ignore the individual needs of students. It's time to return control to the people who know best, parents and local communities. By empowering local school boards, we can create a more responsive, flexible, and effective education system that truly meets the needs of every student. The Founding Fathers believed in the power of the states to be laboratories of democracy. This principle applies to education too. When states have the freedom to experiment with different approaches, we discover what works best. Some states might try longer school days. Others might focus on vocational training or charter schools. This variety is a good thing. It leads to innovation and better results for students. When the federal government dictates education policy, it stifles this innovation. States become trapped in a bureaucratic web. It's time to unleash the creativity and ingenuity of our states. Let them lead the way in education reform. America was built on freedom and individual initiative. From the earliest days of our nation, pioneers and visionaries have driven progress, fueled by a spirit of independence and a desire to create a better future. This ethos has been the cornerstone of our society, fostering innovation, resilience, and a sense of community. But the Department of Education undermines these values. Established with the intention of standardizing and improving education, it has instead created a one-size-fits-all system that stifles creativity and individual growth. The bureaucratic nature of the department imposes rigid guidelines that often do not account for the unique needs of different communities and students. It traps us in a web of rules, regulations, and mandates. These layers of bureaucracy create an environment where teachers and administrators are more focused on compliance than on the actual educational needs of their students. The red tape becomes a barrier to innovation and responsiveness, making it difficult for educators to adapt to the changing needs of their classrooms. Teachers are forced to teach to standardized tests instead of inspiring a love of learning. The emphasis on testing reduces education to a series of metrics and scores, stripping away the joy and curiosity that should be at the heart of learning. Students become numbers in a system, rather than individuals with unique talents and interests. Schools become more focused on compliance than on educating the whole child. The rigid adherence to standards and benchmarks means that the broader aspects of education, such as critical thinking, creativity, and emotional development, are often neglected. This compliance-driven approach creates an environment where the holistic development of students is sidelined. The joy of discovery is replaced with the drudgery of paperwork. Teachers, who should be inspiring and guiding their students, find themselves bogged down with administrative tasks. This not only diminishes their ability to teach effectively, but also erodes their passion for the profession. Students in turn become disengaged and disinterested, missing out on the excitement of learning. This isn't just bad for education, it's bad for America. When our education system fails to nurture the potential of our young people, it undermines the very foundation of our society. The future of our nation depends on the ability of our schools to cultivate informed, creative, and engaged citizens. A system that prioritizes bureaucracy over education is a threat to our national prosperity and democratic values. We need to empower individuals, not bureaucrats. By shifting the focus from centralized control to local autonomy, we can create an education system that is responsive to the needs of students and communities. Teachers should have the freedom to innovate and tailor their teaching methods to inspire and engage their students. Parents and communities should have a say in how their schools are run, ensuring that education is relevant and meaningful. We need to foster creativity, not conformity. An education system that values creativity encourages students to think critically, solve problems, and explore new ideas. This kind of environment nurtures the innovators and leaders of tomorrow, equipping them with the skills and mindset needed to thrive in a rapidly changing world. By prioritizing creativity, we can ensure that our education system produces well-rounded individuals who are prepared to contribute to society in meaningful ways. It's time to abolish the Department of Education and unleash the American spirit in our schools. By dismantling the bureaucratic structures that hinder our education system, we can return to the principles that made our nation great. We can create schools that are vibrant, dynamic, and capable of nurturing the full potential of every student. Let's embrace the spirit of freedom and initiative that defines America and transform our education system for the better. Free markets work wonders in other areas of our lives. They drive innovation, improve quality, and lower costs. We see this in the technology we use, the food we eat, and the services we rely on daily. The power of choice and competition fuels progress and ensures that we, as consumers, get the best possible outcomes. They can work for education, too. Imagine a world where schools compete to provide the best education, just like businesses compete to offer the best products and services. This competition can lead to better teaching methods, more engaging curriculums, and a more personalized learning experience for each student. When we allow parents to choose where their children go to school, we create competition. This competition encourages schools to innovate and improve, striving to attract more students by offering superior education and facilities. Parents, empowered with choice, can select schools that align with their values and meet their children's unique needs. Schools have to improve to attract students. This means investing in better teachers, adopting new technologies, and creating a more engaging and supportive learning environment. The result is a higher standard of education across the board, benefiting all students, regardless of their background. Think about it. You wouldn't want the government telling you what kind of car to buy or what doctor to see. You have choices. These choices ensure that businesses and service providers work hard to earn your trust and satisfaction. The same principle should apply to education. Why should education be any different? Parents know their children best and should have the freedom to choose the educational path that suits them. This choice can lead to a more fulfilling and effective learning experience, tailored to each child's strengths and interests. Imagine a system where funding follows the student. This means that the money allocated for a child's education goes directly to the school that the parents choose. Schools would then be incentivized to attract students by offering the best possible education and resources. Parents could choose the school that best fits their child's needs, whether it's a public, private, or charter school. This flexibility allows for a more diverse and dynamic educational landscape, where different types of schools can thrive and cater to various learning styles and preferences. This would force schools to innovate and improve to stay competitive. Schools would need to constantly evaluate and enhance their teaching methods, facilities, and overall student experience. The ultimate goal is to provide every child with the best possible education, preparing them for a successful future in an ever-changing world. What about the people who work at the Department of Education? Don't worry, we haven't forgotten about them. We can offer them generous severance packages and help them find new opportunities. Many of these talented individuals could put their skills to better use in the private sector. They could work for educational technology companies, nonprofit organizations, or even start their own businesses. We don't need to trap them in a bloated bureaucracy. Let them embrace the American spirit of entrepreneurship and innovation. The abolition of the Department of Education doesn't mean abandoning these workers. It means giving them the freedom to thrive. Don't just take my word for it. Look at the evidence. States like Florida and Arizona have implemented innovative education reforms without the heavy hand of the federal government. They've expanded school choice, empowered parents, and focused on accountability. And guess what? Their students are thriving. They're making greater academic gains than students in states with more federal control. These success stories prove that we don't need the Department of Education. In fact, we're better off without it. It's time for the rest of the country to follow the lead of these innovative states. The education of our children is too important to be left in the hands of bureaucrats. It's time to reclaim our future. It's time to abolish the Department of Education. Imagine a future where parents have the power to choose the best education for their children. Imagine a future where teachers are free to teach without unnecessary bureaucracy. Imagine a future where our schools are once again beacons of freedom, innovation, and excellence. This is the future we can create. This is the future our children deserve, but we need your help. The time for change is now. Join the growing movement of parents, teachers, and concerned citizens who are demanding better for our children. Contact your elected officials, make your voice heard. Tell them that you support the abolition of the Department of Education. Tell them that you believe in the power of local control, parental choice, and free markets to transform education. Together, we can create an education system that empowers individuals, fosters innovation, and prepares our children for a bright future. The future of education is in our hands. Let's make it great. Please subscribe to our channel, like this video, and share it with your friends. Your support helps us create more content like this.